Please remember to like, subscribe and comment, as we love to hear back from our viewers. Also, if you enjoy our videos, please consider becoming a patron of our show through Patreon and or GoFundMe. Links are listed below the video in the description. From the deepest, darkest recesses of Dangerous Nerds headquarters, Keith Moncrief and Gerry Kissell.
Hey guys, Pop Culture Minefield with Keith
and Gary,
and we're here to talk about nerdy nerd stuff and maybe some other stuff that's not quite nerd, because it is pop culture. So we're going to talk about all things in pop culture. So we're going to talk about something that Keith was really calling me about earlier, which I thought was neat.
Yeah, CinemaCon, which I think formerly used to be known as Show West, which is a big convention for theater owners, not just the big chains, but for the small mom and pop.
Well, yeah, and the name says it all. Cinema is in theater. I like that.
Yeah. Well, each of the major studios present a little bit of what they're going to have as far as films for the rest of the year, and a few films that, you know, kind of take us into the following year, which will be 2020. So first up is Warner Brothers, and Warner Brothers had a really good presentation. They were able to offer, first up, It Chapter 2.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so they had a little bit of footage, and they brought out the entire cast.
Oh,
Not
nice.
just the cast of It Chapter 2, but also all of the kids from Chapter 1, who also play a role in many of the flashbacks for Chapter 2.
With new scenes that were... Oh,
Yeah, that wasn't in the first film.
That's unique because it kind of goes against the way the book was written, in that you have them intermixing scenes, and they decided with the film to just forego that and do just the kids and then just the adults, but no, they're still going to put shots of the kids in there because people love the damn kids.
Oh, those kids were amazing. They went from that to Todd Phillips' Joker, which
Joker? What's this about?
By now, you had to have at least either heard about or seen the trailer online. This was amazing. It's an amazing trailer. It looks like Todd Phillips has created a unique take with Joaquin Phoenix on the Joker. What did you think of it when you first saw it?
Going against what my friend Travis said, he didn't like it. And, you know, and I get it. Some people aren't going to understand it.
Yeah.
Or appreciate it. Yeah. I like crime films, and I like this film. I like the feel that the trailer had. I saw two different Scorsese films. Scorsese. I saw Taxi Driver, and I saw his other odd film that De Niro was in, King of Comedy.
Oh, yeah.
The whole talk show host thing and him. I absolutely see it. And it's like, this is a nod to those crime films that he did early on. And, I mean, the Bickle stuff was there, the date, everything was in there. And I'm like going, almost shot for shot, this is like right out of Taxi Driver.
I didn't think about that. That's
good. I'm a big Scorsese fan, so, you know, I just thought it was really great. I was moved by the fact that what we talked about before is that in 1989, Jack Nicholson was turned into the Joker when he's dropped into a vat of chemicals. Joaquin Phoenix in 2019 is dropped into society, and society turns him into the Joker.
I like that.
Yeah, it was really freaking brilliant. And I'm not original in that. I actually saw somebody else that said the same thing today, and I thought it was brilliant. and I'm like, yeah, really good analogy of the situation. What did you think?
Loved it. Look, I mean, it is hard to be a film fan and not be in some capacity a Scorsese fan.
Yeah.
You know, it's just hard not to be. And again, it just to me makes sense to have Scorsese as one of the producers of the film. So I can't.
I was really shocked to see him step aside to be the producer on it, because I thought he was going to direct it. But
Yeah, I don't see Scorsese really directing it. Todd Phillips is definitely the person with the vision. I think that's part of the reason why Scorsese decided to be a producer on the project.
well, and it allows an homage to Scorsese's previous work that probably if he had directed it wouldn't have been in there.
Yeah.
And I can't think of anything. What did Todd Phillips direct before?
Oh wow.
Anything in particular?
I know he has, but
Oh,
off
okay.
the top of my head, because my mind's still on CinemaCon. But next up was Godzilla, King of Monsters.
Godzilla.
And again, if you haven't been following all of the videos, trailers, and others that have been released for this movie, if you are in any way a fan of kaiju, monster movies, this film is made to appeal to you. So I can't even.
Yeah, and because like I talked with Graham about it, Graham Nolan.
Yeah.
And my gosh, he's having the same reaction that we're having. Just the whole I'm 12 to 13 again, and just I can't believe this. I'm so excited. It's that whole Tyrannosaurus Rex thing. I'm a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Anyway, my God, yeah, the trailers are amazing, and that last trailer they did with the. Oh, and I remembered the other film. I made fun of myself when we released the video, so I couldn't think of the other film, and it was Del Toro's horror series, Scary Stories to Tell in the Dark.
Oh yeah, yeah.
They use Somewhere Over the Rainbow in that too.
Yeah.
So we've got 2 trailers with that same Somewhere Over the Rainbow.
Still scary. Still scary.
Yeah, oh my God, that trailer blew. Oh, the spider leg coming out of her face. I'm like, because people who know me know that I don't like spiders.
Well, next up, they went ahead and had something about a new animated film called Scoob, which is a new way of doing, well, not a new way, but it's a new animated feature about Scooby-Doo.
Oh, I'm not excited about this at all. And I'm a big fan of Scooby-Doo.
Well,
I just was not happy that Warner Brothers didn't even let, what's his name, know that they had replaced him for the voice of Shaggy. He found out when it was, the publicity was released, the marketing.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's a hell of a way to find out that you got fired.
Yeah. Well, it does happen. Right, X-Men cast?
I'm not excited about it, and it's not because of what was done to him. I can't even remember his name right now. That played Shaggy in the live-action films, and he was Shaggy. Oh. Well, he's been playing Shaggy since Casey died.
Yeah.
And he does a good job. He really does. And I was really, because I thought, this guy really embraced the character.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm like, why would you replace this guy? But they went a young cast, and I'm like, okay, like that makes a difference for a voice actor.
Yeah. Matthew Lillard. Yeah.
I love that guy. He's so goofy, weird.
Well, it's this year marks the 50th anniversary of Scooby-Doo.
Oh my God, that means I'm over 50. I watched it when it aired on Saturday mornings, so there you go.
Me too. Next up,
we're men of a certain age.
Next up is Wonder Woman 1984.
Oh my God, I'm so excited about this movie.
They gave it a little bit of a sneak peek, nothing too much. That film will not be out until 2020 though. So I know you couldn't do a lot with it. Then they decided to show some behind the scenes footage from Birds of Prey.
Oh yeah, that's going to be a movie, right?
Yeah.
So I'm trying to remember who's directing that one. Do we know?
Oh, I forgot the name of the young lady that's directing it, but this one has an incredible all-star cast, and
I know it's got Robbie in it. She's
Yeah.
going to be playing Harley Quinn.
Mhm.
And that was big news last week, was that Harley Quinn will be in the sequel to
Suicide Squad.
Suicide Squad.
Or I should say the Suicide Squad Redux. Um,
Yeah, it is so funny because, you know, the director got in so much trouble over the pedo comments,
mhm.
the jokes that he made, but then he doesn't want to work with Jared Leto, calling him a pedo.
I don't know what it is about those guys.
Irony? Thy name is ironic.
Next up is Detective Pikachu, which again, that entire thing is just.
It sounded like
interesting.
it's such a terrible idea to me.
I know.
And then I watched that
the
trailer.
and it just changed. It changed the whole thing.
Yeah, by the end of I was like this.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, man. All right, you can have my money.
And then they went ahead and decided to give everyone a little bit of a sizzle of Dr. Sleep, which was, the sequel to The Shining. So little Danny grows up.
Which Shining? The one that was made for TV or the one that was with Jack Nicholson and Shelley Duvall? Oh, no.
Go to the theater to find out.
Yeah, find out. Watch the movie. Little Danny Torrance grew up to be kind of messed up.
Anyway, that was Universal. I mean, that was Warner Brothers.
Warner
I should
Brothers.
say. And again, Warner Brothers looked like they had a fantastic presentation. Now, next up, we are actually going to go through what Disney had. Disney had decided to hit the stage and let everybody know that they're basically the new kings of Hollywood, which, again, I can't argue with given how much money they've made. Both Warner Brothers and Disney both made about $5 billion last year.
Not bad.
Not bad.
Even after the loss from Star Wars.
Yeah. So, first up, they went ahead and presented everybody just a little bit of a clip of Avengers Endgame.
Ooh, nice.
Considering that movie is now, 3 weeks away? You know,
We are so close.
Everybody's got theories.
I have no theories.
None?
None whatsoever.
You're just going to go in and
I'm going in.
let it wash all over you.
Yeah, it's like I don't want to try to second guess what they're doing. I don't want to ruin it for myself. I'm just going to walk in blind and just let them amaze me on screen.
Russo brothers, take me away.
I don't normally do that. I do like to have my theories, but this time I'm not partaking in any of the theories. I just was like, no, I want to see how it unfolds. I know they had a plan. I want to see what it is.
That's pretty good. That's pretty.
I don't do that very often. I most often partake in the theories. And a lot of my theories have been proven correct, like on Star Trek Discovery.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, Mom. Yeah, Mom. It's either going to be her or her mom. Oh, that's her mom. All right.
After that, they were able to play a little bit of Toy Story 4. And they basically they decided to do something really kind of cool. They went ahead and showed, I think it was the first 17 minutes of Toy Story 4. And so the Andrew Stanton they were talking about how when they were putting together a writer's room to help put together their story group for Toy Story 4, the basic thought is, what do we do? How do we start this? How do we begin? Because we figured, the first three, at the end of the third movie, it's a perfect way to end the whole thing. So Andrew Stanton comes in, and he says, look, it's great. We with these movies, we've told a really good story. But we ended Andy's story.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay? We didn't end Woody's. And that set everybody thinking. So
where's Woody going?
Well, also one of the characters disappears. They never really go into whatever happened to Bo Peep. So they decided to
Because that was his love interest.
Yeah, she disappears. So in Toy Story 4, they're gonna pick that up and actually tell you what happened to Bo Peep.
All right, because I saw the trailer and there's like, I assume there's going to be two Bo Peeps, the one that he's in love with and this other one, but maybe it's one. I don't know.
Maybe. You never know. Then they decided to show Aladdin. Now, there's been some talk since the sneak preview trailer, whatever that they had, came out. A lot of people didn't like the way that it looked. But for those in attendance at CinemaCon, they got a really good look at everything. And many people who may have thought the way that those of us that actually saw the first trailer thought, their minds were changed upon seeing this. Brought in some writers for the newer music that they were adding. So pretty much like what they've done with other reinterpretations or live interpretations of many of the classic Disney films, or at least I should say many of the 90s Disney films.
There's this whole Hollywood love affair right now with the 90s, and I'm like, the 90s weren't that great. It was like grunge rock.
They brought in a few people associated with Hamilton, and also a few of the writers.
Yeah, because you were saying that they had also worked on Mary Poppins, which leads me to a concern that as much as I enjoyed the feel of the Mary Poppins Returns, and the music had the feel of the original, it lacked the catchability of the songs from the original film that you walked out and you could hum those tunes. And in fact, you would. It's like, I cannot tell you how many Mary Poppins songs when I was a kid, I'd just walk around singing. And you didn't get that with the new film. They felt like they blended with that old stuff. But it wasn't strong lyrically. So, and I don't know the musical Hamilton at all. He's not one of my favorite historical figures, so I'm like, okay. I don't know if I ever want to watch it.
Well, eventually they will get around to making a film.
I'm going to have to, because he's told me that it's got great music, so I'm like, all right, I guess I'll break down.
They ended up getting some of the people from Hamilton, but they also went out and got some of the writers and lyricists that worked on Greatest Showman. And so combined...
Another film I haven't seen. I need to see.
That's a lot of talent they have coming in to help with new music and songs for Aladdin. And they do a whole kind of...
Well, who wrote the music? Was that Menken that wrote it? Yeah, Menken, like... It's like, how do you write better than him? I just don't know how they're going to pull that off. But, it's filler. I look at it as just filler music. Because the songs that people are going to go to see this movie for are those classic Aladdin songs.
Yeah, and some of them will be...
Was it A Whole New World?
Yep. And Never Had a Friend Like Me, which is...
Yeah, I like that song.
That's a clip that
they
showed, and with Will Smith doing it, and it's really good. And they even do a whole Bollywood dance number in this movie, too, which, when I first heard about it, I thought, what? And then I thought about it, it's like, you know what, that kind of makes sense. With this movie, that really makes sense. So, I'm expecting something, I'm expecting a unique experience, and that's really what they want. I'm curious now.
I am too.
And then,
doggone it.
They showed a scene from The Lion King. Which is...
I'm not excited about that film.
Now, see, that's where you and I really agree. I'm not that excited. I enjoy the vocal talent that they've brought in. I enjoy.
Well, they say live action. It's not live action. It's still animated.
Yeah,
it's just animated in a different way.
I should say the photorealistic version of the Lion King.
Yeah, but they keep referring to it as live action, and it annoys me. It's not live action. Also, I've still got a pet peeve with the original film being stolen from Kimba.
You're right.
Kimba?
Well, then they went ahead and, they went over a little bit of other films that they have coming, like Maleficent, Mistress of Evil.
Yes, the second one.
Yes. And, of course, Ford versus Ferrari. All-star
Now, this one
cast.
sounds exciting. He's like, should we talk about that? I'm like going, hell yeah. When he started describing it, I'm like, I'm all in. So go ahead to explain this film.
It's basically the Ferrari versus Ford, and on the Ford end they bring in Carroll Shelby. They bring in, this is really a historical film where they brought in a lot of big actors. Namely, now they bring in John Bernthal,
and Christian Bale.
Bernthal will play Lee Iacocca
as the Punisher.
And I think Bale is playing Carroll Shelby.
I wonder if he'll be selling his soul to Satan for this role. That's the goofiest thing I've ever heard anybody say.
I know.
I sold my soul to the devil to play this role.
But again, I'm sold. You're sold.
I'm all in, man.
And just hearing about it, they've already sold us tickets.
Because as much as a Chevy man as my father was, I've always been a Ford guy. Mm-hmm. And I'm really curious what they're going to do. And a lot of people don't know this, and I've heard a lot of people mock the new James Bond because it had a lot of Ford products in it. Mm-hmm. And then I gave them a little education. It's like, who do you think owned the Aston Martin company? Ford. That's why there's a lot of Fords in classic James Bond too. You're complaining about the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Mm-hmm. If you knew your history, but don't worry about it. Don't worry about actual history.
And finally, they decided to give us they decided to give them a little bit of taste of Dark Phoenix, the last, and they made sure to inform everyone. This will be officially the last X-Men film from the current cast as we've seen presented by Fox. Supposedly, it's actually pretty good.
I'm surprised to hear that. I was not expecting much. I got to be honest. I've never been excited by the way that they portrayed Mystique and with her. I liked it with Rebecca Romijn when she was playing her because they played her correctly. Yeah, kind of evil, and in love with Magneto, which I was cool with. Yeah, but this iteration was just weird, and the whole first trailer was such a turnoff for me with the interactions between Jean Grey and her, Mystique. I was just turned way off. But I don't know. Maybe it won't suck. We'll see. Because you just like me, have been a big critic of 20th Century Fox's.
Yeah, their handling of the X-Men property has just been one of the worst.
It's abysmal. So we are. So what are we moving on to next?
Universal.
Mm-hmm. And did they talk anything about their deal with Blumhouse?
They brought Blumhouse out on stage. And from what I've heard,
this is really good.
He's not a very good public speaker, but he can make some great movies.
Well, yeah. So people are like, what's he talking about? Who is that man? But I'm excited about them taking over the Universal Monsters. Mm-hmm. I really am. I want to see a classic turn to real horror.
Yeah.
Not Tom Cruise action movies. I want to see a return to horror. Classic gothic horror.
Ditto. We're gonna start out with Secret Life of Pets 2.
I enjoyed that first movie.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
It was dumb, but I really enjoyed it. That was it. Kevin Hart, I think, plays the little bunny. He made me giggle.
He and Tiffany Haddish came out on stage, each one holding a pet representing,
their character,
in the film. And from what I heard, it was a very funny presentation.
I wonder how many times that rabbit shit on him.
Well, then we have Little, which is a modern day remake updating of the movie Big, except going in reverse.
Mm.
And the 13-year-old girl who is the co-lead actually came up with the idea to do the movie. She's an executive producer on the film and is now officially the youngest executive producer ever in the history of Hollywood.
I like this idea. That's a nifty idea of like, I want to be. Well, it's like that Twilight Zone episode in the movie.
Kick the can.
Kick the can. I love that.
Kind of, but it's about a woman who is very mean to everyone around her and gets cursed to become a kid again.
And have to experience that stuff. Woohoo! I don't know. It sounds interesting. Count me in. And and I want to bring it up again because Shazam opens this weekend. Right?
Yes.
And there's a huge nod to Big in that movie. And it's one of my favorite moments in the film. Because, once again, I got to see the sneak preview.
Don't rub it in.
No.
Then we have the movie Yesterday. And this is kind of a musical fantasy adventure. Basically,
based on the Beatles?
It involves the Beatles.
Okay.
The premise, if you haven't seen the trailer yet, is about a blackout that takes place for 2 minutes worldwide, and about a man who is involved in an accident at that exact same moment. He gets knocked out, and by the time he comes to and the power comes back on, no one has any memory of the Beatles at all except him.
Holy smoke.
So he begins to play Beatles songs, and people think that, he's actually writing this stuff. So he begins to take credit for all the classic Beatles hits.
Okay, I like this.
Now, the other one is Last Christmas, which, it's a movie, obviously a Christmas film, that was written to be a film version of the Wham hit Last Christmas. The song Last Christmas.
Remember that?
Yeah, just YouTube it. Cause I'm not gonna.
I'm gonna go do it now.
I'm not gonna sing. But basically, it actually got a pretty good reaction there at CinemaCon. It seems to be something that people want to see, and again, it's never too early for Christmas. I enjoy Christmas.
Too bad George Michael didn't make it to see it.
True. Too bad.
I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah. Then they went ahead and brought out the they talked about Hobbs and Shaw, and they brought out its 2 stars, which is nothing but incredible chemistry between those two, which is really
Statham and
The Rock, or Dwayne, I should say, Jason and Dwayne, and those guys have incredible chemistry. I am seriously looking forward to this movie.
Well, a lot of people don't know that Statham is an Olympic athlete.
Mm-hmm.
They think he's just this action star. Now, even though he was a bit of a corner con man in London to make his money when he was discovered by Guy Ritchie, the fact is, before that, he was an Olympic swimmer and diver.
Mm-hmm.
And amazingly physically fit, and has really studied martial arts.
And that's, I think, part of the reason why he and Dwayne get along.
Both about physical fitness and
great athletes. not to say that nobody else involved with the Fast and Furious movies aren't. It's just the fact that they have a lot more in common than with the rest of the cast.
Yeah, because we all know that he had a beef with Vin Diesel.
Yeah, yeah. And the lead female in this movie is going to be playing Statham's younger sister, so this will be another Shaw.
Okay.
And Helen Mirren, I think, will also begin the movie playing Mom.
Helen Mirren.
I'm telling you, man.
How many fantasies I've had of her since the 70s. She's just so wow.
What red-blooded man hasn't at least had one?
When she played Morgana in Excalibur, I was just like, because she gets naked in that movie, and I was just like, hubba, hubba, hubba. And she's still gorgeous to this day.
Yeah.
And I loved it. Did you see her recent quote? Basically, F Netflix.
Yeah, it was, I love Netflix, but F Netflix.
I canceled Netflix because they canceled Daredevil, and I'm not going to take it back until they do something that pleases me. I'm a dick.
Well, then they everything took a little bit of a turn, because I think a lot of the people there at CinemaCon were expecting this next one. But they went into Downton Abbey.
Oh, no. Are we going to have a...
Yeah.
Really? Holy murder! I got to call my daughter. She and I watched all of those together.
Well, then the trailer that they unleashed for it, including all of the character posters that they've been releasing over the last week about the movie. So obviously, if you're a Downton Abbey fan, you've been noticing things online related to the film. All I can say is the king and queen are coming to Downton Abbey. And that's part of the plot. So they have to get everything ready.
What decade are we in now in the film?
I couldn't tell you.
Don't know.
Yeah. But that's part of the plot of the movie.
Well, do they say, is it King Edward, or do they say?
No, they don't say. So
Well, if it's the king,
it would probably be King Edward.
Yeah, Edward.
Yeah.
Because Elizabeth took over after him when he passed away.
So, yeah. If you're a big Downton Abbey fan, this is for you.
That's this guy.
And finally, a film that I actually thought would have been made at least 20 years ago, but they're finally going to do this. Cats.
Oh, yeah.
Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cats. It's another film with a really good soundtrack. Another play with a really good soundtrack.
There's this comedy that I watched that says that it was on Netflix. The Incredible or Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt.
Oh, love that.
And the part of the plot in there is that he gets a role in Cats because Cats isn't actually a script. It's not a continuous play that's played over and over again. Mm-hmm. It's an ongoing thing that they make up every stage production, every stage showing. And what happens is actors sneak in and become a character that's in the play. And I just thought that was hilarious. That there was never any actual Andrew Lloyd Webber script or musical. It was all improvised right on the spot.
Wow.
I love that show. I'm sorry it had to end. It did. It ended this season.
Yes, I remember. And again, I gotta say, I found that show just hilarious.
Oh my God.
It's one of the breakout hits of Netflix.
I'm like, why did you end the show? I felt like it had at least another 2 or 3 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
And no, they just ended it. And I'm like, all right.
Well, the cast for this is incredible. But what really stood out to me is the fact that you're going to have Sir Ian McKellen, Idris Elba, I think Helen Mirren, and Jennifer Hudson, who they brought out on stage to end the entire Universal segment by having her sing Memory.
Another song stolen from Beethoven. Andrew Lloyd Webber is always stealing stuff from people like Puccini. I mean, he stole so much from Puccini.
All I know is this is going to be good. They're using modern technology to do a little bit to augment the performances a little bit. So if you've ever have seen Cats, or if you really don't understand what this is, Google it. But basically, just think of everybody in the costumes, except they're going to augment a little bit of their performance or physical, their faces, enlarging eyes and various.
Make you more cat-like.
More cat-like. That way, it'll really give an amazing.
They're probably going to use the same kind of software that was used to turn Johnny Depp into a gruesome version of the Mad Hatter.
Yeah.
Horrible version. I hated that character. I always preferred the one in the original. Well, the way Carol had the artist drawn with a big long face and big nose. Big schnoz. But anyway.
Well, that's just a taste of CinemaCon.
Cats, a movie.
After all these years, because we're talking almost 40 years?
Yeah, it's like, I mean, we had Jesus Christ Superstar, another Andrew Lloyd Webber musical, was made almost within a year of its being a hit on Broadway. And but Joseph and His Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat has still never been turned into an actual film. Donny Osmond put out a stage production version with the gentleman that was the professor in Jurassic Park. I can't think of his name right now, but he played the part of his father, Abraham. And Donny Osmond was knockout. He was really good. And I've seen that play probably about a dozen times in the theater. I've seen Jesus Christ Superstar in London. But I've never seen Cats. I've seen clips of Cats.
Yeah.
And I've listened to selected songs from it, but I've never actually watched it. And I'm curious if it doesn't suck. And so I'll find out now when it becomes a movie with Idris Elba, who hopefully will just break out and just start killing people, stabbing them.
That's a different film, man.
Oh, is it?
That's a different movie, man.
Sorry, Idris Elba. Which he posted a thing today on Facebook, which I loved, which reminded me of our producer, Craig, because he runs this thing called the Ministry of Disinformation. And many sci-fi magazines have used his graphics without even knowing it. He fakes them that well. Like he did one of Picard for the new series Picard wearing a different uniform for for the Discovery, and it was totally faked. It was totally my friend Craig for his website Facebook thing, and check it out, Ministry of Disinformation. It's hilarious, but he I wonder if he did it, which has Idris Elba's head on James Bond's body with holding the.
I mean, it does look good.
The Walther PPK with a silencer.
You still got people buying into the fact that, because I think the headline was it's official, Idris Elba has been cast. And the thing is I'm trying to tell people it's definitely not true, since they basically are still currently
If you don't
shooting.
see it in Variety, if you don't see it in the Wrap,
Hollywood Reporter,
it's horse shit.
Yeah. And on top of that, they never announce a new Bond until well after the other Bond.
Exactly, when they're done, and they also take them out on stage. It's not something
they do a big press conference.
Exactly, huge press conference. This is our new Bond, and don't buy it when you hear this stuff.
Elba,
now.
that would be a huge press conference.
And you and I talked about it, that it's highly unlikely he's going to get it.
Yeah,
because as good an actor as he is, and how much we would love to see him in it, he's too old.
Yep.
They're going to want to have somebody that's in their mid to late 30s.
Yep.
That can play the character for another 10
at least another 10 years.
Yeah.
And again, as much as we love Idris Elba, but it's 10 years too late for him. And again,
he was the only thing good in that Prometheus movie.
Yeah. Along about the time he started work on Prometheus is when he should have been James Bond.
Yeah. And like that, just like the Indian at the end of the commercial where Save America, a little tear comes down my cheek right now.
Yeah. Too bad though. He would have been something else. Now, you've gotten a lot of information. There's a lot to unpack there, but if you basically go back through and go through with Google and hit a lot of this stuff, there have been a lot of trailers released, a lot of posters released. You're going to see a lot of what you want and a few things you didn't expect. Again, I didn't expect cats. Trust me, I didn't expect that.
I don't know. I'm pretty stoked. CinemaCon, man. A lot of stuff comes out of there.
Downtown
and
heavy.
if you don't check up on this stuff, watch our show, because we'll check out for you. That's what we do.
Remember, hit the like button.
Subscribe.
Please.
Hit the bell.
We need you. So, for Keith
and Gerry,
this has been Pop Culture Minefield.
Mind blown. See you next time. Double guns. Double guns.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
This is Chuck Dixon speaking to you from the control tower. It was a real kick to return to a series that I wrote 30 years ago, but even more fun is returning to an interrupted storyline that I was writing 30 years ago. Longtime Airboy fans can finally find out what happened next. Join us, support us, and keep them flying. Over and out.